Welcome back to JR Oil Paintings 101. Today we're going to have a nice little, I think we're going to, I'll just wing it here as we go. I'm going to start off by telling you what colors we use here. We got phthalo blue, Prussian blue, sap green, phthalo green, Van Dyke brown, burnt sienna, black, alizarin crimson, red, cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, Indian yellow, and titanium white. As you can see here, I got my little canvas set up. It's a stretch canvas, and I got the liquid white all ready to go, so it's nice and slick, and wet, ready to go. We're going to start off putting our little sky in today. I'm not really sure exactly what we're going to do here, so we're just going to play it by ear and kind of go for it. I got a nice simple little sky today. We're going to start off with a phthalo blue. We're just going to tap it into the, I moved my palette and camera around, so hopefully the angles will be a little better for us today. If it's not, I apologize. We're just going to start up here in each corner. Get a little blue in there. I like my corners a little darker than the rest of the sky. And we're just going to go back and forth here. Just little back and forth strokes. Leave a little dark and light in there, get a little action in that sky. And I think we're going to have, we might have a little bit of water in here. So we're going to just, if you're going to have, just pull, if you have still water, just pull one direction, nice and level, nice and flat. I think there's something on the canvas here, it's weird. Yeah, I think it's called paint. Anyway, I'm going to go from both sides here. Just keep it level as you can, straight as you can. Canvas has, I think my liquid white wasn't as even as I was making it. We're going to get a little darker at the bottom, and it's going to lighten up as we go to the top here. Something really strange with that canvas. Just kind of go back and forth a little bit to even it out. I usually, when I do this one, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I just fill up the whole canvas with some blue, basically. Let's go a little darker blue, go with the Prussian blue, but it doesn't take much of the Prussian blue because it is a really dark, beautiful blue, but it will eat it up. It will be real dark. If you want a dark sky, dark sky, dark water, just add some Prussian blue to it, and it'll darken it up real quick. You have to forgive my voice here. I've got allergies big time bad this morning. And it's trying to lose my voice out. We're just going to blend out the sky a little bit. Back and forth. Nice. Take out all the brush strokes. Something like that. Something like that. I think today we will have, I like clouds, and I've been needing to work on my clouds. Because, well, I just do. Man, I hadn't liked all my clouds that I've done, but you see some little lighter areas in the sky and all this. Gives a little life to your sky. So we're just going to take some titanium white. I'd like to use the number 3 fan brush for this, but you can use any brush out there. You can use a 1-inch brush. I tell you what, I've been using this. We're going to show you two different ways, two different brushes to do clouds with. First off, the number 3 fan brush. Just load it through with some titanium white. Now we're just going to tap it in here, just like that. Tap in a little cloud shape there. Keep that brush moving a little bit. And tap it over there. Tippy tappy. I like that. And then we'll take our 2-inch brush. Nice, clean, dry 2-inch brush. Make sure it's clean and dry. And you're only going to use the top corner of that brush. And you're just going to drag it around just barely on that top of that. I'm showing you this way on my hand because my hand's always in the way up here, so you can't really see it. But you're just going to have a little circular strokes on this. You're just working it out a little bit, blending it up just a touch. You're just using that corner of that brush. Like that. Now, wipe off the excess paint there, and then you're just going to fluff it up, just barely touching it. Barely touching it. Just fluff it up a bit. And then you're just going to take out those marks and just blend it out just a little bit. And you can decide how dark or how light you want your clouds. If you want it real light like that, you're going to put something over on top of it, another cloud or whatever, you're going to need to go just a nice little light color cloud, because this next one's going to be a little bit darker, a little bit brighter. And we're going to show you how to do with a 1-inch brush. This little cellar right here. This little cellar right here. And what we're going to do is you're just going to put, same way, just put some titanium white in your brush. You can use a little blue or black or something to darken it up just a little bit, but with just being pure white, titanium white, it's going to pick up some of this other color in here anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to use just, I load the brush fully because you're going to use both sides, but we're going to just use that corner of the brush, just like we did with that one when we was blending it out. And you're just going to make little circular strokes. Just like that. Just turn the brush. Make a little different cloud with a little different brush today. And if you want a little brighter, just add more white to it. I don't know, I got very good light today. We had all kinds of thunderstorms and stuff last night, and it's got my power all crazy right now. So seeing how this works, this may never make the channel if I can't see what I'm doing. If you can't see what I'm doing. And we just kind of, and then tap a little bit of it, like that. And we'll tap in a little floater there. And we'll take our 2-inch brush again, same way, just like we did that other one. And just use that corner of that brush. Try not to get to the top of that edge. And just go little circular strokes. Now with that, with this one here, it's just going to be a little blender. You just lightly go over it to get it where you want it. And then this way, you're just going to just barely touch it. And there you go. There you have 2 different brushes to make clouds. And I gotta work on my cloud shapes. Neither one of those are very well, or those, I don't really like either one of them very much. Can't talk today, sorry about that. But you can just go over and put as many clouds in your painting as you want. If you don't want any, don't put any. You can just have a blue sky. That's why I like to have these variations in the sky, have like light areas and dark areas. But if I decided I didn't want any clouds, then that'd be good enough. I think we're going to have a pretty good size cloud right here. It's going to go off the canvas a little bit. That'd be like what you'd call a big old thunderhead. And I'm going to add a lot of white paint to the brush because I want this one nice and bright. Like we're going to go over some of these other ones here, because I don't like those too much. So I'm going to cover some of those up. And like I've said before, when you're doing your painting, if you don't like something, you can cover it up or paint over it, or scrape it off and start over. I've done that several times. I do that a lot. And we're just going to go over these just a little bit. There we go. Just best I can, something like that. Then we'll take our 2-inch brush, clean, dry 2-inch brush. Make sure you get all the little extra paint off of it. And just like we did before, just little circular strokes. Try not to touch the top edge of the cloud. Bottom edge is fine, but don't try and touch that top edge just yet. We'll touch it in a minute when we start blending stuff out here. Wipe off the excess paint off your brush. Your brush will pick up some of that paint. Just wipe it off on paper towel or, and then just barely touch it. Barely graze that. Get some down here that you don't want, just hit it a little harder with your brush. It'll take it out. All right. That's a decent looking little cloud. We're going to add one more to it before we call the clouds good. As you can see, I like my little fan brush for clouds. It just makes really nice clouds. At least I think they do. And with we're going to just touch a little bit black in there. We want a little bit of gray on this one. Just gray this up just a touch, and I mean just a very little bit of black, or you'll have a storm cloud in there. We don't want really storm cloud. We just want to darken this up just a little bit. You can add blue to it, but it's going to just blend in with what you've got. So if you go with just a little, I mean just touch a black on there, very little bit, and you start tapping. I think that may be a little too much gray. That's all right, we'll blend it out and it'll be fine. Keep this brush just moving and wiggling in there. It'll just pick up and make all kinds of interesting shapes. You just sit there and wiggle it in there. Get it in there really good here. And just kind of tap it in there just about like that. And again, take our little 2-inch brush, He's a little bitty fella, isn't he? And then just do some circular stroking there. Just round and round she goes. Where she stops, you don't know. I don't either, because you can put as many of these as you want in there. And since I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing today, as far as mountains or trees or whatever, I'm not sure how much of this is going to be covered up and how much is going to be around when the finished project is done. Now we're just going to fluff this up just a little bit, just barely touching the canvas. Just give it a little, and then back and forth just a little bit. Now you can blend this to where it's barely noticeable if you just keep going back and forth with this. And there we go. I think, and I know it don't sound like I think too much, but I do think that's where we're going to stop for the clouds today. And for those of you that may have just stumbled upon me by accident and started watching this video, I do like painting mountains. Mountains are just, I just love them to death. So today I think we're going to go ahead and paint a mountain. We're going to have some, we'll mix up a little color. We got phthalo blue, a little bit of Prussian blue, a little bit of black, and some alizarin crimson, quite a bit of crimson. I want this more on the lavender end of it. Just the black's going to dull it up just a little bit. But we're going to kind of loosely mix this. I'm going to put a little more crimson in there. I want a lot of crimson in this. Now, we're going to mix up a pretty good pile because we're going to add green to this mixture later and it'll become our tree colors. But for now, we're just going to very loosely mix this. And by loosely, you don't want to make a whole new color. You're just going to give it all these colors a little tint, and it's going to have a nice mixture of colors when you start putting it up here on canvas. Now we're going to take a little bit of that color, put it off to the side here, and we're going to add a little bit of titanium white to it, lighten it up a bit. I think we're going to have several layers of mountains here today. So I like to have 3 or 4 mountain ranges in there. I mean, it's a lot of fun to do. At least I like it. So what we're going to do is we got that nice little color, except we're going to add just a little bit more crimson to this color over here. A little more on the purplish side or violet side, or however you want to say it. There we go. That's about right. Now this color is going to look black on your palette when you mix it. Just mix a little white in with it, and you'll see what color you got. And if you're happy with it, go with it. And if you want a little more crimson in it, put that in there. A little more blue, whatever your flavor is. But you're going to cover, get a little bit of that paint on the edge of your knife right there. There it is. And we're going to go, where's our first far off mountain? We're going to go over on this side over here. It's going to be way up high here because we're going to go, now we're pressing pretty hard in here. You're going to scrape most of the stuff, all that paint off. Because what we're interested in first is that top edge. We want that top edge to be nice and crystal clear. Because when you see a far off mountain, you can only make out the top edge anyway. All this down here, you don't really see too much. It's real indistinct. Hey, I got that word out right this time. Sometimes I get that wrong. Yeah, you're going to scrape most of the paint underneath. Now scrape it off. And we're going to keep on going. You just make as many peaks and valleys and stuff as you want on your mountain. But I do recommend that if you're first time painting, trying to paint a mountain, don't do a one with a real complicated, 15, 20 peaks. Go with one that just has 1 or 2 peaks at first. But it does take practice to get these things down. And if you only have 1 peak to mess with, it makes a lot better. And try not to just go, several little teepee looking things. You want to go get a little more angle to it. Don't get some sharp angles like that. If you get sharp angles like that, it's going to look like little triangles everywhere. Basically, building a mountain is just a study in contrast and angles. Now, that we got our basic shape up here, we're going to take our 2-inch brush and we're going to drag this paint. But don't get that top edge. Try not to miss that top edge. Keep it as distinct as possible. And then we're just going to drag it down just like so. Now this serves 2 purposes here. It's going to really thin out the mountain a little bit, dilute the color just a little bit. And it's going to make putting your highlights and lowlights on a lot easier because it's thinning that out just enough. Because you know the old saying, one of our rules is that a thin paint will stick to your thick paint. So if you're having trouble getting anything to stick onto the thicker stuff, just thin your brush out a little bit. Come on. Now, we got our basic mountain. This is going to be a real far off mountain. We don't want super distinct. We don't want a whole lot of details here. So we're going to go real kind of iffy on it. Just a little bit of detail, not a whole lot. You ruin the illusion of distance if you're not careful with these. Now, you want to start off back up here and don't make it huge. I made this one a little bigger than I really intended to. They kind of get away from me every once in a while. So just get you some titanium white on the edge of your knife, just like that. And very lightly. Just hold it with a couple of fingers. Don't put any pressure on that blade. Don't hold it like that. You can put too much pressure on your blade. Move your finger back here on the handle only. And just very, very lightly. Just barely touch and pull down. And you want that to break just a little bit. You want those little holes in there. Now, this one's a little bright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take and just rub it out just a little bit. And it'll blend in with the color underneath, and it'll lighten up, or darken up a little bit, I should say. Anything back here in the back is going to be a little lighter than what's in the foreground. As you move forward, it should come darker and darker a little bit in a landscape. So we're just going to go. This one's going to have just a little bit of a peak and valley here, right there. Just kind of very lightly, very gently, just like you were petting a baby bird. Just very, very gently. Or if you don't like birds, petting a baby rabbit. You're just gonna, you don't want to manhandle this paint here just too much, because you want it to, like I say, you want it to break. You want that paint to blend in. You want this very light, because this is going to be a far off fountain. This ain't going to be a close up one. We'll get to a close up one here in a minute. Now this one we're going to have a little valley right here, and just kind of swoop right in there. Just take your knife and just give it a little C stroke on there, and you'll get the illusion of a little peak or a little valley in there where some of this snow is set. Be careful of your angles. You got to follow them for the whole painting here when you're painting your mountain. You know, where this one goes off this way, this is going to go off this way as a kind of an equal opposite angle. Just you don't want this one go nice and slop and this one short, fat, and makes weird mountains if you're not careful with your angles. Just kind of be careful with your angles. That's all I'm saying. And you can just barely touch this, just graze it until you think your snow looks like you want it to, and then shoot. See that line straight down? It can't. To me, that always looks a little strange to keep it straight. So I just kind of pop it over like I did this one over here, and you're just gonna come on straight down with it, or at an angle with it. And follow your angles just a little bit. It'll pay you great. I'm gonna make a mess over here with my other hand here. Now forgive my dogs, they're outside barking at a cat. You might hear them every once in a while. The cat decided he wants to live in my backyard. No. Yeah. Okay, that's gonna be all it. Now we're gonna take some titanium white and some of that mountain color, the same color we made the mountain with, and we're just going to add a lot of titanium white to it. That's going to be our, people call it shadow colors, I call it low light colors. Don't super mix this real good. You want that variation in color. Pull it out nice and flat. Get you a little roll of paint on there, just like so. Just like so, like that, on the edge of the knife. And then we're gonna have to put some low lights in here. You gotta have your low lights, shadows, whatever you wanna call it. And you're just gonna put them in wherever there is a peak. It's gonna have its own little low light. Every highlight has to have its low light. It won't look right otherwise. I'm gonna get my smaller, we'll get a smaller knife for that one, so we'll just go over here. I'm not putting a ton of detail on these low lights because these are going to be off in the distance, a little lighter. So you're not going to see a whole lot of these, but they're there. We know they're there because we put them in there. And then just kind of get some in the nooks and crannies there. Anywhere you won't want a low light, just put it in. You can fill in some of these areas with that lighter color. Excuse my arm, I'm looking for my other knife, my short knife. Where'd it go? I'll move things around. I can't find nothing. It was just there. Where is it? Oh, it's right in front of my face. I'll tell you. If you ever want to hide something from me, just put it straight in front of my face. I'll never see it. That's America. And then you just put your lights. Now remember, this one's a little valley, so just kind of come up with it right here, like that. Like that right there. Like that right there. And I have a little bit more, a little bit right there. And if you want, like this right here, it's a little darker, a little detail in there. Don't put too much detail in this one because, like I say, it's going to be way far back. There we go. And if you want to get the illusion of real distance in this, you can take your 2-inch brush, a little blender brush, and we're going to tap just the edge of this. Tap down in the angle where your color is coming from. If it's coming this way, tap down this way. If it's going this way, tap down this way. You're going to tap down just a little bit. Tap down over here. And just get an illusion of a little bit of mist over here. Wipe off your dark color on your brush, and then just go up. Now if you want to get this soft, go all the way up, and it'll soften that. It'll soften what you already put up there, but just barely touch it. I mean, super light. Same way this way. Just like that. And you can blend that out to any degree of softness you wanted. If you wanted to keep going and just kept blending that out, it would get softer and softer. But for my purposes today, I think that'll do just fine. Now, we're going to put another mountain right here in front of this one. And so it's going to come a little further up, because this is going to be a little further in the back. So we're going to darken that color that we just used as the base coat and darken it up just a little bit. I'm going to keep it a little lighter than this other mountain. We're going to put 3 mountain ranges in here. I have 1, 2, and then a big one over here. I just decided that I think I love painting mountains, so anybody that has seen my work before or even has perused my website, which is jroilpaintings.com, will know that I love painting mountains. I paint them all the time, and I just love them. They're when they're done right, they're beautiful. If I could, I would live up in the mountains. But I'm in Texas. We don't have these big old beautiful mountains like that. Now with these peaks, you're going to come up with just a little bit further up. You're not going to start way back here. We're going to come up just a little bit here, about right there for this big peak here, and then back down. You're going to do the same thing. Just put it in and scrape it off. That's why I didn't care too much about the clouds. I was just going to show you how to do clouds. A couple of different ways. They're going to be gone, most of them, I think, in this painting. Yeah, we just care about that top edge of this, and we're going to go just like this one, just like that right there. I'll scrape most of that off. But the value is going to remain in the canvas, and you're going to spread it out here in a little bit. But we want that top edge to be Nice and precise, nice and clear, nice and distinct. I forgot my word from a while ago. Distinct. There we go. Yeah, did it again. Okay. I'm going to try to get into a habit of when I'm going to download, but right now I don't have a specific upload schedule on when I'm going to put my videos online. This one will be up probably later tonight. It's Sunday. It'll be Sunday and everything. I'll probably do it tonight if my power gets restored. Now we'll go over here and go one little one right there. And one little peak right there. So, all right, we're gonna go wee right through here. There we go. And a lot of this one will be covered up as well. Just scrape as much part of the paint off as you can on that. And we'll take our big old 2-inch brushy roonies here. Do the same thing we did there. Try not to disturb that top edge. If you do, it's not a crime. It's just it'll look better if you can not disturb it. You can fix it with the highlights and lowlights if you do. You can actually, if you wanted real far off mountains, the one where you don't see any snow or anything on there, you could make your highlights and lowlights with just your brush strokes. But this is not the type of mountains we're doing today, so. There we go. Okay. And we'll get our big palette knife here, and we're going to put in some snow on our mountain. Now, with this one, we're going to have a little more detail in this one than we had in this one. See, it already looks lighter in color. Push that mountain back in the background. When you start putting the snow on here, these are where you got to be careful. You don't want to rub the white too much, because you bring up too much of that undercolor, and it's going to have that distance ruined. So you need a little brighter snow here. So we're just going to make one pass here and go, whoop. Just barely, just barely graze the canvas. That mountain will figure out how much snow it wants, and it'll take it. Just kind of decide where you're going to want your snow on your mountain and put her in. Just a very light touch. That's what it took me quite a while to get that touch down, and I still have difficulties every once in a while with it. This one's going to be in front of this one just a little bit, so it's some of this the low lights are going to be taken this way out of it. So we're going to add a little bit more on the top of this dude. There we go. A little bit more over here, I think. There. I just wipe my knife on an old paper towel. Keeps it clean. That way you're not dragging a bunch of the undercolor into your nice fresh paint. There we go. I'm just going to keep doing this till we have enough snow on these mountains. And if you wanted mountains that maybe late spring, where a lot of the snow is melted, put a little less snow on there. Make it where it'll break a little more. Have a little more of that undercolor showing. He's a big one, I'll tell you. This guy's growing on me. They'll do that. Yeah. These old mountains, some of these will get out of hand. They get big on me. So I'm going to get a little peak right here and do that. But you want all these little holes in your white. If you don't have that, it just don't look right. It looks like you just pasted a bunch of white on there, and that don't really look. That's not what I'm after. Anyway. You may be what you're after. You may want these to be in the middle of winter where they're just caked on with snow. You still need the lighter color in there. This little guy, he's going to be mostly hidden anyway, so we're just putting a little bit of color. A little bit of snow on him. He's going to be way in the distance back there. Now then, we're going to take a little different color of low lights here. I'm going to take some titanium white. And a very, very minimal amount of phthalo blue. That's it. Just white and phthalo blue. And more white, I think. This can get really dark on you because phthalo blue is a pretty powerful, pretty strong color. And it takes a lot of white to dilute it enough to make it acceptable. That's my late mother's mantle clock you're hearing in the background there. All right, there we go. I should do enough right there. Yeah, we're gonna start with the big knife. Get you a little roll of paint on your knife, just like that. And just like we did before, here, we're gonna do it over here. And we're gonna go, ooh, just let it break here. Let them holes shine through. Hey, what we're gonna do just a little bit more white. A little bit. You're gonna play back and forth with the highlights and lowlights here, because you'll figure out exactly what you're looking for in these. And you just play with it just until you're happy with what you're looking for. You'll get it. If you don't, if you have trouble with it, just like I say, scrape it off, start over again. It's a way to practice. You can fill this whole canvas up with mountains and practice. And then when you get all your canvas full of mountains, just take your palette knife, scrape it all off, and start over. I personally don't do that, but it is a way to learn. You can do that with trees, your skies. Just fill the whole canvas up with it. And like I say, I don't really do that, but it is a way to learn. So, I'm going to start up here. Just a very little, you don't want to mess with your peak there. I'm going to switch to the smaller knife. The little palette knife. Got a little more control when you're trying to get in these little nooks and crannies here of a mountain. And again, just very, very lightly. Start at the edge of that snow. And all this is snow that's in the shadows, right? So you're going to do it the same way. See if I can do this with the other hand. I am right-handed. So I always usually put the light source on the right. I've tried it with the left, and it to me just looks wrong. But that's just me. You can do it for any which way you want to do it. You know, get both give both sides a chance. See which one you actually do like better. I say I'm a lefty. I mean, I'm a righty. My brother, he's left-handed, so he would probably make it. He could do either way, I guess, if he really wanted to paint. He's not much of a painter. He does other things that are creative. But, and then we'll give this guy a little bit here. I mean, just a little, because he's going to be covered up over here with this guy. And just play back and forth until you get your light and your highlights and your lowlights the way you want it. And you're just going to keep going till it's all, well, till you're happy with it. Here. Some of this stuff right here is going to be covered up, so I'm not going to be too detailed in here because we're going to have another range of mountains over here. Take your blender, your 2-inch brush, and tap. And make that misting in down here. Tap in the direction of where, just watch your angles. If you got angles coming from this way, tap in that direction. Tap a little bit here too. And then wipe your brush off. And then just gently lift up, take the tap marks out. Lift up the same way you're tapping. If it's this way, come from this angle. You gotta watch your angles just a little bit. And there we go. I just wiped my brushes on some old pair of blue jeans I got down here that don't fit. You got holes in them and everything. You just find however you want to clean your brushes. You have to make up your own rules on that. So just clean them with odorless paint thinner. Don't use I wouldn't use turpentine. Turpentine leaves a film on your brush that you have to use soap and water to get out, and it don't I don't like it. It just lengthens the time where you have to clean your brush with. Just use odorless paint thinner. Works really well. Got to be careful what brand of odorless paint thinner you use, because some of it out there says odorless. It's not. So you just have to kind of trial and error for yourself about what is and what does. What does and doesn't work for you. But I would recommend that whatever you put your thinner in to clean your brushes, see that it has a lid on it, because if you leave it open, it'll evaporate. You'll lose some of your thinner. If you have something with a lid on it that seals, it'll last longer for you. Now we're going to put one final mountain range in here. It's going to be a little darker than all these two. So I just used the dark stuff that we first mixed up. And we're going to put our big peak right here, major peak right here. Try to make them look a little different, each major peak. You make them all look the same, or I mean identical, which might look pretty close, because I just do. So anyway, you're gonna go up here, keep that top edge as distinct as possible here. Scrape off, reload, do her again. And just put as many peaks as you want. If you want a lot of peaks, go for it. If you don't want very many, then don't put very many. But like I said, I would use a caution with how many you put on first and your first attempt. Because I guarantee it, the first one you try, you won't be happy with. I wasn't. I don't even know what it was, but my first mountains looked pitiful. I mean, just pitiful. They really did. So you're scraping some of that off, so your next highlights and stuff will stick to it easier. You want that nice bright edge right on top there. And the rest we're going to scrape off. And we're going to go one more right up here, I think. See why I didn't put too much detail in those low lights? I covered it up. And you can put as many of these as you want. I mean, once you get to this one, you can put one right down here in front, a smaller one. And if you want, I don't think we're going to do that today. But you can put as many as you want. Just play with it for a while. Shoot, you can put as many mountains in your scene as you want. All right. Now we'll get our 2-inch brush. Just like before, we're going to try not to disturb that top edge, if you can help it, and then pull straight down, or not straight down, but the same angle your peak is going. Try and follow that angle. And then same way here. And this step builds your mountain, but it also removes a little more excess paint so your highlights and lowlights will stick a little better. Now back to our big knife here. Just like before, this is just kind of repetitive, but you can see how that one's way back in the distance now. This one is now pushed back by this one because it's just all I've done is darken that. It's the same paint, same colors, just a little darker shade. So it pushes these others back in the background back here. So we're going to go with titanium white, just on the edge of the knife, just like before. Just like that. And then we're just going to barely touch. Just barely. Allow that to get all them little holes in there and break. Because if it breaks, that's what's causes it to look like a real mountain, or as close to real mountain as I can paint. Anyway, people ask me if these are real places that I've seen or if these are on top of my head. Most of them just come out of my pointed little head. But I'll see a mountain somewhere, think that'd make a real pretty one if I put another one behind it. Now, look online if you're not in a mountainous area and don't have mountains like I'm not. I'm in Texas. We don't have these big, beautiful mountains like that. We have some rolling hills, but we don't have any big, beautiful mountains to study. So just go online and look, and you'll find all kinds of interesting or some very inspiring peaks. But most of these, like this one, this particular scene, is just out of my head. When I sat down here, I wasn't even sure what I was going to paint today. I'm still not sure exactly where I'm going with this. I guess we'll find out together, won't we? All right. You can compose as you go. All this is kind of repetitive right through here, but it's just coming all out of your imagination, or at least mine is. And get you a little peak here, or a little doer right there. Just remember, anywhere where you put the highlights, you're gonna have to put your low lights. Excuse me, there goes my voice again. You're gonna have to put your low lights. Because your low lights, anywhere there's a highlight, won't look right unless you put a low light in with it. Every highlight has to have a shadow, or what I call low lights. Because it's just where very little light hits it, right? That's why I call it low light. Because there's low light that hits it. I switch to my smaller knife so I can put a little bit of a valley right here. I find that easier to do with this one. And with this, if you wanted to put a valley in here, just put it, make it where that little bit of that highlight goes in up, like up the side of it here. And then when you put your low lights in there, it'll come from the other direction with a little different color here. So you're just going to put just a little bit right in there. Now to tell you where your low lights are going to come from, are going to be at. And we're going to put a little bit more right there. Now to put enough titanium white on the palette. Okay, let's switch back to now. Let's keep going with the small one. We're going to have a little bit on here, this guy right here. We're going to keep going with this guy here. He's not big enough yet. And I think we're going to go just a little bit more over this way because he's over here. He's just going to come straight down. Well, not straight down, but he's going to come down to this angle. I'll put a little bit more of a peak over here. So that's an awful lot of low lights right there if you do that. Let me just go out this way and come down. But just play with it a little bit, and you'll get the hang of it. Just a little practice. Yeah, that's our basic highlighted mountain. Now we're going to get with, we're going to put some more titanium white with just a little bit of blue on it, for our low light colors here. Excuse my arm for a second. I gotta get a little bit more titanium white if I can find what I did with it. Like I say, if you want to hide anything from me, just put it right in front of my face. I'll never see it. There we go. I get a little more titanium white on the palette. Didn't put enough out. There we go. Now then, I'm going to have a little bit more white with this blue. Just mixing up my low light colors. This white and titanium white and phthalo blue. I tried to experiment with that with the darker stuff, the Prussian blue, but it's just too dark. It didn't look quite right when you mixed it with the white. Phthalo blues, to me, it just looks more like dark colored, snow in the shadows. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of low light here, so you can put these anywhere you think there should be. If you wanted to, let's say you saw a little low spot right here, just put a little bit of low light right there, and by golly, you'll have like I don't know, a little cabin right there, a little indentation spot right there. You can do this wherever you want it. Just put it in there. Just remember, anywhere you have a highlighted area, you're gonna want these low lights in there, because it just won't look right. I'm gonna switch to the hand here. But you want to start your highlights right there at the edge of the snow, where the low lights start, where the highlights end. And if you leave too big of a gap right there, it ain't gonna look right. It just won't look right. And we'll put a little low light right here. And then we'll go switch. Play around with different colors, different shapes. See, if you do leave it like that, it's not going to look right, because that highlight's not right next to the snow. It looks like there's a hole or something there. So just bring it right up to there, right to the edge of that where the snow is, and bring it off. And then you'll be more happy with it. More happy, happier, however you want to say that. So you just keep doing this back and forth with the highlights, lowlights, and pretty soon you have a real rough old mountain here. You just keep playing with it until you're happy with it. You have unlimited time there where you're working on these. And you can piddle one to death. I've done that before. Just keep adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. Never satisfied with it, and then finally just you do too much to it. So just not like that. And there's our 3 levels of mountains. Take our big 2-inch brush again and make sure that you wipe off any excess paint that you got on there from the previous ones, and tap in a little bit of mist here. The base of these mountains are never very distinct. Always tap the direction and put these highlights in, and then wipe it off. Just barely pull up on it. Get those tap marks out of the base of the mountain there. Just pull up a little bit. You may wonder why we do this. Several reasons. One is, like I say, the bottom of the mountain is not very distinct when you put these in, and you don't want it to be. But the next one is, the next thing you put in there, that's going to act as a separator for your next whatever it is you're going to put up there. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some trees and stuff in there. There is a way you can actually reflect these down here, but on a video right now, I'm not going to do that. With this particular one, I'm going to have a lot of trees and stuff in it. With me, I always have to turn the canvas upside down to put the reflections in. I'll show you one day, but just not today. Today, we're going to do it this way. Now, last time we had little footy hills in here, and we used the fan brush. Today I think we're going to use the round brush. You've seen me use these with trees before. Just a half-size round brush. What we're going to do is we're going to have some foothills that's going to kind of come in here and here and here. And so we're just going to take some of that dark mountain color. Let's add a little bit of green to it. So take about half that. I'm going to take about half that pile and put a little bit of sap green in there. I want to have just a greenish tint to it, just a little bit. When we put it in there, it will also kind of change the flavor from the mountain color that we've already got up there. And give it a little more separation in the colors. So we're just not going to have to mix it too well. You're not looking for a totally different color. We're just going to change the value just a little bit. Tap your little round brush into the paint. Get you a nice little even mix of paint in the bristles. Yeah, not a whole lot, just a little bit. You got to decide where your foothills is. Right? Right. Sure. So these over here, they're way in the back. We're going to have a little mist in there, so we're just going to put in, these are little foothills. They're just going to come in right around here. Just tap them in. Like I say, on these foothills, don't go too rounded at the top. They'll look like turtles. Yeah, if that's what you're looking for, if you want turtle heels, go for it. It's your painting. And we'll kind of trail this one off about like that. Put a little extra down here. A little bit extra. And we'll just tap that right in there like that. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to take a 2-inch brush. Don't have any clean, dry 2-inch brush. And we're going to get some reflections on this here. With reflections, you're just going to pull straight down. But don't pull way down. See right here, you got a lot of space. A lot of that's going to be reflected. So pull down a little bit further here than you would here. See what I'm saying? And just straight down. As straight down as possible. So this will have a little bit more here than it would, say, here. So we're getting center, right? Just like that. Now, wipe off your brush. And then gently, very gently, very lightly, just come straight across. And straight across, and you have reflections. Just like that. Reflections on this particular method is a little easier than, say, traditional style and all that. I've never been a traditional style painter. I just don't have the patience for it or the knowledge to pass along any of that. But with this technique, it is, to me, fairly easy to do. It's one of the first things I actually picked up rather quickly. Some of the other stuff took me a little while, but the reflections, I did fine. Pretty easy. Because it does, you just pull straight down. Now, it looks kind of like this is still floating on top of the water there, right? All right, well, just put your little water line, get you some liquid white on the palette, cut across, just get a little bit of paint on the very tip of that knife, and then we're going to cut in a little water line. Just keep it straight. You don't want this too bright, because it's still fairly dark, back in the distance. So if it comes across too dark or too bright, just go over, just keep sawing it back and forth a little bit, and it'll loosen up, it'll lighten up. It'll pick up some of that color underneath. And that's all you gotta do, just keep doing that all the way across. Don't go straight across. Vary the the placement of these lines just a little bit so it'll look like you got, you know, different planes in here, different, like a little cove or whatever into there. And just kind of saw it back and forth just a little bit until you get all the way down. There you go. And there you go. You got instant reflections. And water line there. There you go. There's your one little footy heel right there. And you might want to go, you know, just a little bit of a ripple. Right over here. Like so. There you go. Do that every once in a while so you still see some movement there. And then I think I want to do just a little bit more to this foothill. I want to put in a little bit of detail on this because I think that it's a little closer to us than, say, that back mountain if you put a little foothill by that mountain back there. So we're going to take another little brown brush. We're going to take it into a little bit of the yellow color we got. Add just a little bit of liquid white and a little bit of that dark color. And it's going to brighten it up a bit. It's going to turn a little greenish tint. I don't want a lot of color here. Just a little bit. Going to tap some of that color in there. And then we're going to just go over here and put just a little bit of color in there. Like we have a foothill full of a whole bunch of foliage, trees, stuff like that. You're just going to see, you can't hardly see it. That's what I want. That's what I want. All the way through here. And we're just going to do it. Just tap a little bit of color in here. I don't want too big a detail through here. We're not looking for a lot of detail. We're just looking for just a little bit of color. Just to kind of say that this is trees, bushes, and stuff here. It's covered up. It covered up that land. And if you get any that's too bright, you just keep going, just tap over it a few times. I like that. You can do that, put some little color in here. Into the reflections. Some more on this side. And then take our little, where'd it go? Our little brush here. Don't mess your water lines up. And then just pull it straight down. Straight down. And then go across. Like that. You have a little bit of reflection in there. And then we got our first little foothill in there. And see how that looks? I think that looks pretty good. So now we're going to go ahead and put another foothill in front of this one. So we'll take the round brush, just like we had, and we're going to go into that same color. Well, we're going to go into, yeah, we're going to go to the same color. Maybe darken it up just a little bit with some black. And then we're going to have a foothill on the other side over here. And you can see where it's going. I mean, shoot, it tells you. Just tap it in there. And see why we put the reflections in first? Because putting them back there now would be a booger, wouldn't it? And you go back to right there, I think. like that. Now we're going to grab our 2-inch brush and just straight down. Go as straight as possible when you're pulling down, as crooked reflections will make you wonder what happened here. It doesn't look right. You know, pull real firm. Like I say, down here at the end, don't go too crazy with it. Well, leave that. Clean off your brush just a little bit, and then pull straight across. And if you want it to, you can actually move this color to make it look a little ripply. Get rid of the ripply effect here. You pull it that way. There we go. You don't want to go too nuts with it. But there we go. We got a little reflection. Now we're going to go back with a little bit of color in this one too, because if you have color back here, you're going to have it here. These are going to, now I'm going to wait and put my waterline in last on this, just because I want to. It makes it easier, because when you have a waterline back here, you got to straighten it up a little bit after you put some stuff in it, and I didn't do that here yet, so I'll just smooth it out a little bit. You got plenty of time to do this, because like I say, this stuff takes so long to dry. You got plenty of time. So we're going to take a little bit of sap green, just tap it into the brush, and I'm going to go yellow ochre, just a little bit of yellow ochre and a little bit of titanium white and sap green. That's what we got on the brush. Just tap it in there so you got a multitude of colors here. And we're just going to pick out a few little things. Go just above the dark, and put it in there, and then put a little bit down here with that same color. Do it as you go. That way you don't have to remember what color you use there, and it makes it a lot easier. We'll go with so you're going to vary your colors through this. There we go, a little Indian yellow, a little bit of sap green, Indian yellow, and liquid white for the next. Just go just above that. Think of where a little bush would live here. Tap a little bit of it in there. Now we'll go to the yellow, cad yellow, and we'll pop a couple of little quick bush shapes here. Same way here, just like that. Now, you know me, I gotta have that red bush. I like that red bush. Hope there ain't no dirty-minded people listening. I got a little red bush here. Got a sparkler right there. Look at there, as Mr. Ross would used to say. I got a sparkler. And then we'll go back into the yellow, the cad yellow, with that. And we'll put a nice one right here. And don't go all the way down with some of these. Just tap in a few here, and then we'll get some other colors on top, and it'll look like it's layered. And then we'll go back with the red over here with a couple of, there we go. And then maybe a little white. Add it to your brush. You have a little white one right there. And then we'll just tap a few different colors in here, and hopefully having some nice little trees and bush shapes in there. And just vary your colors back and forth here. I didn't put any red in the water. There, I didn't put any red down here. That's all right. We'll put it in there. And there we go. Just vary the colors and back and forth here. And put a little bit of here in there. And a bit here. And some more over here. And there we go. Now, we'll take our 2-inch brush again and very lightly, very gently, just pull down. Pull that color down. And then across, just zip, 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 and you got blushes. Across our brush here, get our knife, go through that liquid white, and we'll get some waterlines solid in here. Just some back and forth. And try and keep them basically straight. You can vary a little bit with it, but you don't want like a 90-degree. You don't want one going this way. Even if your land goes this way, just kind of keep it straight. And we'll put a couple of little ripples in there. Let me get a little bit more paint on there. We'll ripple it right there. Like that. And there we have your next view. See, that pushes that way back and then have all the colors in there. So everything as it moves forward, you're just going to keep putting stuff in it. We may put some big trees in here, we may not. I'm not real sure yet. Mostly, it's all about the mountains today. So we're just going to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that on these others. And I think what we're going to do now is put a little one right here, a little peninsula right there, and see what we can do with it. I think we're going to just add some big tree, or a tree right here that goes up. All the way down here. And a tree, let's make it a little bit bigger there. And then we'll just come across here with a little tree. And some bushes, some bush shapes over here. There's another big tree right here. Or a medium-sized tree, I guess. Nothing too huge. I don't think we'll put too many big trees in here this one. We don't always put a big tree in the painting. You don't want these bushes to get all one flavor. You're just gonna vary them from side to side, size and shape and color, and just move your brush around. It'll get there. I think we'll have it trail off right there. A little bit more right there. There, I like that. I think that's what we're gonna do. Now we're gonna put some trees. Let's put some, what do you call them? I almost had it. Trunks. Let's put a trunk in our tree. Put a trunk and some limbs and stuff in our tree here. We're gonna go with just a little bit of the burnt sienna, and we're gonna loosen it up with a little bit of paint thinner. Couldn't think of the word. There we go. Just keep going. A little bit more there. And then we're going to do it to a nice sharp edge there. It's going to be kind of pointy. And then we're just gonna put a nice tree trunk here. And just kind of, just about like that. Just however you want your trunk to go. We're gonna cover this up so it doesn't have to be any too big details, but too many details to it. But we just want it to kind of show up just a little bit. Here and there and there and here. There we go. I say, just kind of paint it in there. And then you get a little bit of a branch here and there. Well, I mean, you got your basic tree shaped already. You're just going to put in some limbs where you think they would be and what might show up. And shoot, put one that goes out here a little ways. Not all of them are going to be covered up, right? I just put one that kind of comes out there just a little bit. Not everything has fortunate enough to keep their leaves on all their branches. So you have a little dead limb every once in a while sticking out. So just kind of stick a few in there. A big one here. Some little ones coming out over that way and that way. Some of this will show up, some of it won't. But the stuff that does show up, you're gonna be like, wow, look at that, man. That is so cool. You got some detail in there. And it's all about the details now. I was just gonna get you a few. And we'll scrape some little white twigs in here in a little bit to finish this off, but we're going to just have a few that'll show like that. This little cougar head. And there we go. And then maybe one over here, and a couple over here, one this way and that way, and another one that comes out this way, and then goes out that way. There we go. I like to clean my little brush here because he don't hold a lot of paint, so he dries out pretty quick. And I'll use him again shortly. Okay, so we'll take our round brush that has all the colors on it, and we will get to it. We're gonna have some green, some sap green. Pardon my head. With a little bit of liquid white. There we go. We'll put it over. We'll put it down here out of the way for right now. We're going to just tap in some green with a little bit of the cad yellow. Make a nice bright green. And that's for this big one right here. Now you're going to go just above the dark and then just tap in some your basic tree shapes. Now mix all this color on the brush so you get a variation of colors. Same old dirty brush that we've been using for the bushes and stuff. And a little red every once in a while, cad yellow and yellow ochre. Don't cover up all your dark. You gotta have some of that dark in there. Now down here, just leave a little bit of dark right below this big tree here because there's gonna be a lot of shadow through there. So we're going to keep going with it. Get a really bright yellow on this little dude right there. And you just have to touch and play with these. Get your little shapes just right. Now we'll go back into some of the green and get some greenish flavor here. And some yellow ochre here to get some of the darker. There he is. Oh, you know me. I like that red bush. So there we go. Had a little bit of that red on there. And, ooh, he's a bright red one with a little bit of yellow in there. You can stand there with it. And, yeah. For this dude, we're going to go with some emerald green, phthalo green. It has kind of an emerald green look to it, but it's going to be a little brighter green. Thin it out with just a little bit of liquid white. And then we're going to go just above and tap. Think about a tree shape. And tap it in there. And then we'll go below it. Leave a little bit of dark right in there, because that's where there's going to be shadows. And a little bit of that yellow here. A whole bunch of that yellow there. Maybe a little red just to kind of dilute the color just a little bit. And then we'll tap in just a little bit of it. I'll go with some yellow ochre and Indian yellow every once in a while. And Indian yellow. And then we'll tap him in here just like so. Him too. And more yellow, I think. For this little guy. Can't have him left out. He would be lonely. He would be crying. Can't have a sad bush. Nobody likes a sad bush. Do we? And then we'll take our palette knife here and we're going to scrape in a few sticks and twigs and stuff, and then I think we're going to call this one a good one. So get back here, just scrape it in the dark. Leave these where you think a trunk or a limb would be. Just kind of keep scraping them in there till you're happy with what you got. This one will be on the website probably next week sometime. I like to give them about a week or so to dry before I put them up for sale. So, if you're interested, keep a watch out for it and go check my website every once in a while. It's JR Oil Paintings with an S .com. And take a look at some of my paintings, and like I've said before, if you see one you like but you can't quite afford it, shoot me an email. Maybe we can come up with a fairer price for you. And if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I will refund the shipping cost to you, and we can meet somewhere and I'll deliver it to you. The shipping is expensive on these paintings. I shipped one the other day and it cost me quite a bit. So I'm looking for different shipping where it won't cost quite as much. But I will ship it to you if you're not in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So with that, we're going to take a little bit of the phthalo blue and a little bit of thinner. And we're going to sign this one. Excuse me while I move my painting over just a little bit where I can get to the section I like to sign. And you can sign yours any way you want to. I just use my initials and I use blue. And I always put the year that I painted it, because I can never remember what year it was. And I've got a few paintings in there that Doesn't have the year on it. I can't remember when I painted it. So, there. And with that, we're going to call this one a done deal. And I hope you enjoyed this one. I enjoyed painting for you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and hit that subscribe button for me, would you? I'm just getting started in this. Any acknowledgement or kind words would help. But I think that's it for today. This should be up on the site shortly, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.